I'm Jack, and my guy's name is George Washington, and he was famous for being the first president and being a general in the Revolutionary War. So, this part is how to be George Washington. So, I'll read 1 through 15. You have to have false teeth, so they weren't actually wooden, but you had to be a general in the army, so Continental Army or fighting the Revolutionary Wars general. You had to be the first president of the United States. Your wife had to be Martha Washington. You had to live in Virginia. You had to be born on February 22nd, 1732. You had to die on December 14th, 1799. You had to fight in the French and Indian War for the British. You had to fight in the Revolutionary War. You had to cross the Potomac River. Your tomb has to be in Mount Vernon, Virginia. You were not allowed to have any children. So, like this is the signature, so your signature has to be exactly the same one as this. Your years in service of the militia had to be 1752 to 1758. And your years in service of the U.S. Army had to be 1798 to 1799. So, here's a picture of George Washington. Not super special, but so we can get a picture in your head. Here's a acrostic poem. It's kind of black, but George was born in 1732 for G. E, elected to the first term with unanimous electoral votes, which means they all voted for you. O, one of his favorite professions was farming. R, regarded as an American hero. G, General Washington fought bravely. E, elected to 2 terms. W, Washington became head of Mount Vernon in 1752. A, at 6 foot 2 inches, he was one of the tallest presidents. S, served as general and commander during the American Revolutionary War. He did not have a middle name for H. I, interesting fact, he was the only president to not live in Washington, D.C. And no children of his own, but stepfather to 2. G, George married Martha Dandridge Custis. T, teeth were pulled and he wore false teeth. O, on April 30th, 1789, George Washington took office. N, nicknamed Father of our Country. So here's the backpack. I stole some. When I met him, I took some stuff out of his backpack. Show the name. So I'm gonna, when you come with me, I'm gonna return these. So I'm not stealing. I did steal. Okay, so here's a backpack. Some things that I stole out of his backpack. And then, so here's how I get the match. Oh, here it is. So, here's this one. I got some flint. So if he was lost, flint and some steel. So if he had to make a fire, if he got lost, here's a notebook or a journal that he'd write into maybe his wife and send some letters, or just, write. Here's a coin that he might have. It's oversized, but he might have one of these in his backpack. So, this is $1. So kind of small dollar, but it's $1. And then here's a pistol. It's a flintlock, and I just found it in his backpack. So.
Is there any ammo in that?
No. No, sir. Whoa. Okay, so, okay, so So here's a travel brochure. So since I went, when I go back with you, I will return these items. So travel to Virginia with George Washington. Here's a picture of him. Call to come to Virginia and meet George Washington himself and experience some great things. 540-123-4567. Okay. Come to the battleground where American and British soldiers fired pistols, muskets, and used sharp swords. Come take a tour of George Washington's house and meet the man himself. Also, that's a picture of him with his horse. I forgot to say that. And here is Mount Vernon. Excuse me, Mount Vernon in winter with some like deer, and that's his house that I went to, and it's really cool. So if you come to Virginia, the grand finale is that you get to fire pistols and muskets with George. So I gave him an award, the Bravest Man Award, because he was very brave in going into the war. Because I know some people, and he was British, and he just joined, so he was very brave throughout the war. And here's a note that he would write to Martha. So February 26, 1778. Dear Martha, my lovely wife, I hope this letter finds you well. Unfortunately, I'm not doing well myself. I have been very sick with a lot of illnesses, and so have many of our men. Winter in Valley Forge has been extremely cold and hard, and you just cannot warm yourself up. Our supplies are very low, and the men are only eating about half of what they need to stay healthy. The British troops have surrounded us, and we are greatly outnumbered. They have been taking the cattle, pigs, chicken, and crops from our local farmers and leave the poor people to starve. They are doing this to get even for our rebellion. The weather is too bad to fight, but we still have lost over 2,500 men due to starvation, disease, and exposure. Many of the remaining men are still weak and sick that they cannot do simple things. Our cause has reached its darkest hour. Morale is very low, and the men who are strong enough to walk may start to desert. Even though it is so hard here this winter, I want to keep going on, keep fighting and going on. I pray that God will make it warm up and somehow send food to us. As the commander of this army, I will continue on either win or die. I pray that I will return home and enjoy life with you at Mount Vernon. Your loving husband, George. So, that's my poster for Brochure.